Hello and good morning. My name is Amber. My art handle is Meraki Painter. Happy Monday, and today I'm bringing you actually two paintings or two artworks, I should say. The first one was supposed to be the original one, and I was going through that kind of phase that I feel like a lot of people can get, where you just can't draw for the life of you no matter what you do. And so you'll see me mess around with this face a lot. I eventually settled for something, and at that point the paper was pretty much completely ruined, and I would have had to completely restart on a new paper, and I didn't like the sketch enough to transfer it over. I was kind of done with the whole thing, but it was inspired off of the music video for Zanny from Billie Eilish, and I kind of wanted to do all the hands at once and then have like a monstrous feel for the hands, which is why I give them super long nails. But yeah, basically at this point I was like, I'm just gonna play around with it and try out some new techniques and different mediums, kind of make it mixed media. So I got out my colored pencils and started messing around with it, which of course isn't going to make the smoothest look. I tried my best to make it pretty smooth, but it is textured watercolor paper, so you're going to get that texture on it as well. But like I said, there is another painting with this one. I kind of wanted to not only put out this one, because this is like the worst that I've seen in a long time that I've done. So by the end of it, it kind of came out okay, but it's still not the best. So like, I don't know. It just doesn't look good. So I wanted to kind of add another painting to it to, in a way, redeem myself. And I actually really love the painting that I'm going to show next. It's one of my favorites. I already made it my profile photo for YouTube, which I think it's going to finally stick this time, because I've never found a profile photo that I liked to keep on my YouTube channel, but this one I actually really like. So yeah, let me show it to you. So if you can't already tell, it's a girl and a crow, which actually it's a fairy, not a girl. She is more of like a bird type because she has bird wings. I like to think there are different kinds of fairies and they all look different, and there's like different species, I guess. But she has bird wings instead of like the dainty little Tinkerbell type fairy wings. And I actually have like a little story that goes along with this painting. I like to think that they live on this world that's pretty much completely sunsets and sunrises. Like on our world, we have mainly days and nights, and then a little bit of sunset and a little bit of time for sunrise. But it's the opposite for them, and it's mainly the sunset and the sunrise, and their days and their nights are a lot shorter. And that is why I decided to do a background with a sunset. Basically, the story behind it is this bird fairy was born with really small wings and she couldn't fly, so because of that she was like an outcast from her other fairy family and friends. And then the raven saw her, noticed she was alone, and the raven really resonated with that, saw her situation since the raven was an outcast as well. And the two of them became friends, and they look out for each other, fighting off woodland enemies and everyday life that they might come around. And since the fairy can't fly, the raven kindly lets her fly on her back so she can feel the joy of flight. And this is just two characters that I love so much. I like the story of it as well, and this is kind of like just an establishing painting of these two characters. I want to make them again, and I have plans very soon to make like a bookmark of them. I don't know how easy it's gonna be considering her hair. The raven is completely black, including his black eye, and that was really the inspiration for making the fairy completely white, including her eye, making her eye completely white as well. So the white hair was actually very complicated to do, I guess, because you kind of can't hide anything. You gotta get it looking just right, if that makes sense. I used a dull light blue color to help shade in some darker areas and any areas that the curl curls in away from the light. And then I used a lamp black to make a cool toned shading on top of the blue and everywhere else to add that detail into the hair, so her hair stays more cool tone to differentiate it from her wings that are more warm tone. It's shaded with a ivory black that has a brown undertone, so in that way it looks separate. And then I just went over the hair once more with white watercolor paint to help make it look more like white hair versus gray. So yeah, it was a little bit tricky to do all the white and try and make it look presentable, try and make it easy to understand what's happening, which I didn't completely successfully do, but I think it's decent. I think I did a decent job at it. I was originally thinking maybe to leave the hair completely negative, just all negative space, and have no details in it, because I've always wanted to do something like that, but I think that would be better applied to a different, maybe focused on one person type profile than this, you know, a little more like a little more concept type art than this more surreal type painting. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah. And then for the crow, I also made it more cool toned using that same lamp black. To achieve those dark areas, I used a black gouache paint for that. And then after many layers of putting on the background, the purple sky, and then the pink clouds, it finally came out to be pretty decent looking. I wish the pink clouds were a little bit more pink, but I work with what I have, considering I don't have any pink watercolor, so I just have to make it with white watercolor and red mixed together, so it's more opaque, but it works, so that's all that matters. But yeah, I think overall this turned out to be like one of my favorite paintings. It's super cool. It's little, not that big. It's 5x7, so it's not too small, but it's a decent size, and I actually have it up right now on my Etsy shop, which I have officially reopened, and I've gotten some paintings on there along with my commission slot, the vinyl stickers from the Bonilla Draw This in Your Style painting I made, and then the paintings I have on there is the sweet painting with the cotton candy hair, the marshmallow girl, rose ocean, some cotton, and the slumber painting. And I keep adding more all the time, so I'll link to it below, of course, the direct link, and then go to my website and you can find all the other ones. It's on my Etsy. But yeah, I'm really happy about this one, and I can't wait to do another one in this style, or with these characters I should say. I want to do it like her writing on the back of the raven. I think that would be so cool, and I want to do it for a bookmark series, so I'll probably, if I sell the bookmarks, it would have to be like sold together. I'm thinking, I haven't sketched it out or anything yet, but in order to get like some detail on it, I think it would have to be spread out pretty large, so they might have to stay together to actually make any sense, I guess. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm so happy to be finally putting this out here and also get a YouTube video up, because this is the first time in a while, in a long time, that I haven't posted anything last week, but I was working on a commission, so I don't know. I hope you learned something from my ugly painting. I figured I might as well show it since I recorded it. I don't really like it though. It's probably not going to be in the thumbnail, but here's this painting instead. I hope that helps satisfy from the ugly painting that happened beforehand. And until next time, bye.